Cool. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today, we got another great meeting here for everyone. We're excited to go over past client center of influence follow-up systems. And additionally, if you don't know, those of you on the call are going to be automatically entered into a drawing that Aaron's going to do at the end of this. And you're eligible to potentially win 2 free Hershey Park tickets with meal vouchers. So with that being said, we'll get rocking and rolling here and get started. So past client center of influence follow-up systems. Obviously, your database is a gold mine, and it's always important to be working that database. And I wanted to start it off telling you a little bit about what my grandfather and uncle did historically. There's some mega teams out there, boasting some more complicated, in my opinion, follow-up systems with 60 plus touches that to me, are complicated. They put together a really smarter, not harder, keep it simple follow-up system that allowed them to grow their business to 200 homes a year with 6 agents. To me, that's super impressive. And 67% of that business came from their database. Uncle Tim, Poppy, can you tell us a little bit about what your system involved?
Number one, everything was put down in our system, which was Top Producer. From that, we were able to maintain a level field every time we wanted to contact somebody. We had them on schedule, and we knew how many touches we were giving them every year. And we rated our clients A, B, and C at the time. The A clients were the ones that we knew were going to give us business. The B clients would possibly give us business. And the C clients were people that we knew we had to stay in touch with because we had some kind of a relationship with them. It was important for us to take the A clients and at least touch them every other month in some fashion or another to see if we could get another lead from them. And they were willing to help us with it. So it all manufactured itself around our system. And the big things that we had going for ourselves was 4 tips that Mike Ferry had given us. And the first one was, I don't care who you are or what you are, show up every day. And I mean, show up willing to work. Point 2, show up willing to make the calls. And show up willing to put what you communicated into your database so that you always knew what you were talking about to your clients, and they thought you had a great memory for knowing what they said in previous conversations. Go ahead, Tim.
So to expand on that a little bit, we typically made 4 phone calls to them a year, once a quarter. And after those phone calls, we obviously would put our notes into Top Producer so that, like my dad said, you could remember what exactly it was that you talked to them previously about. In addition to the 4 calls a year, we sent out at least 2 direct mail postcards, jumbo postcards. And on that, it had information about our team and that kind of stuff. So there was 6 touches with the postcards. Then as we got into working both the Mike Ferry system and the Brian Buffini system, we added handwritten notes, which we had done to give them a more of a personal touch. So that, in essence, took our program to 8 touches a year. And then as we started instituting things like, back then we were doing pig roasts at my house and inviting the AAA clients, like tomorrow we're doing the ice cream social. where we've invited everybody on this call, including their clients, to the ice cream social. So the follow-up system that we used that pretty much represented between 65 and 70% of our business for past clients and centers of influence was a 9-touch-a-year program. Now, the 9-touch-a-year program that we followed has some really neat advantages now with the us putting KV Core into play now. So with the KV Core program, there's at least another 4 possible touches that you can add on to the 9 to give them instant and repetitious reminders. So Brooks, if you want to talk a little bit about the 4 things that KV Core can do, and it can actually be more than 4, because some of those could be on a monthly basis and some of these touches are on a yearly basis. So if you want to expand a little bit on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So to me, KV Core is an incredible resource right at your fingertips that every one of you, as being a Remax agent, has for free. So this is a CRM, this is your database, this is exactly what they were talking about, where they were putting in the notes, they were scheduling the next call dates. But in addition to that, like my uncle was saying, there's 4 ways that you can automate communication to your clients with this database, where your system, your KV Core system, will send them a touch without you having to do anything but initially set up, that automation. So the first one I wanted to talk about was a market report. So you have the ability to go through,
I'm gonna go back home
and
and get.
depending on where your client lives, pretty much everybody knows that information for that contact. You can put in a township, a school district, a county, whatever that geographic area you want to set up. You can establish a market report for that client, and you have the ability to manipulate how many times it gets sent out. So you can have it sent out once a month. That's typically what I have set up for all my clients. Now, you can also use that market report in a different fashion as well. If somebody lists their house with you, you can neck that down to maybe once a week. That way you can tell your client, hey, I'm going to keep you aware of the competition, what's going on in your marketplace, and we're going to keep you up to date at least once a week. So there's multiple ways that you can use that market report. The next point I kind of want to talk about here is an annual touch, and that's for birthdays. So your clients' birthdays, you can put in there, and it will send them a birthday text and email annually on that date. You have the means of manipulating that. The creativity is really endless. You can embed videos into that email or text, and if you want, you can record yourself singing the birthday song on YouTube and have that video play for them annually every year. Again, creativity is endless on that, and you can customize it any way you want. The next one I want to talk about is another annual touch, and that's for home purchase anniversaries. So if they are a past client of yours, you can put in the date of their last transaction, and every year on that date, it's going to shoot them a text and an email stating something to the effects, congratulations on another year of home ownership. Cheers to another year filled of fun and good memories. If you ever need anything in real estate, I'm here for you. Give me a call, something like that. But again, that's an annual touch that goes out on your behalf without you even having to do anything outside of putting that information in there to begin with. The last one, the 4th point, is a home valuation automatic value model, AVM tool. So if you're communicating with this client and they want a quick idea of what their home's worth, this is a means of comparison to like a Zillow estimate. So you can send them a AVM on their house, a automated valuation model, and give them a quick idea of a ballpark range of what their home might sell for. Obviously, communicate with them that these things aren't always the most accurate. And if you really want a true value, you're willing to go out there and do a full-blown CMA for them and get them, you know, a realistic ballpark of what their home will sell for. But those are the 4 points that we've kind of added into our follow-up system, the traditional one that my grandfather and uncle talked about.
So that gives us like a 13-point program that could be expanded, obviously, to a minimum of 12 more on top of that. So is there anybody that would like to share what their follow-up system is with their past clients at this point? You know, I see Morgan on the call. Morgan, do you have a follow-up system with your database that you use currently?
I use a referral maker with Buffini, and I do the same. It's very similar. I mean, they're all very similar and the same, but I've had that one for a while. And I do the same thing. I keep up with my, I mean, I like to write my handwritten cards because that's my thing. So instead of sending the anniversaries or the birthdays with the text or the video, I do that. But I have been looking at doing some more video with some of the follow-up. My clients get, my A's get a letter from me in the mail every month. Then they get some kind of touch, whether it's a call, a text, or a handwritten card every 30 days. And then I do my B's, C's, and D's that I'm trying to convert to move them up. I do that like quarterly. And they also, my A's get a pop by from me normally like at least twice a year. I'm trying to move that to 4 times a year. And then they all get my like I just did one of my client appreciations on Saturday at Talking Breads. So they get the invitation to that. And I invite like all my past clients, but I do it in groups. Like I'm doing another one in Newport. I did this one in Mechanicsburg so that it's kind of regional. So
if you're using the Buffini referral maker system, are they getting, when you say they get something from you every month, is that the item of value that they send out?
So they get the letter of item of value, and then my entire database gets the email, the item of value that's followed up with the letter that's sent out.
Okay.
But then I'm constantly sending my handwritten notes, so that goes out a lot more than often. And I kind of watch like social media and Facebook too to see like, you know, if there's something that happened or if I ran into somebody. That's my way of like reaching out and saying, hey, congrats on your daughter graduating high school, or your birthday, or a new grandbaby, or whatever it is.
Okay. Kathy, if you could just unmute for a second. We use that item of value also, right?
Yes, we do.
All right. And as part of the item of value that goes out monthly, that's automated, and we don't handle that. We don't send it out. You're doing it straight through the Buffini system, correct?
Correct.
Do we know what the charge is for that per month?
I'm not sure. I
Brooke,
believe
do you
it
know what
was.
it is?
Yeah, I think for the whole CRM in them doing the mailing, it's around 270-ish, if I'm not mistaken. But they handle up to 100 contacts for you in that, and
Right.
they, you know, seal the envelopes, postage, everything for that price.
And the reason I wanted to bring that up, and Morgan, do you do it automated also through their system, or do you do it yourself? You do it yourself. Okay. The reason I wanted to bring it up on the automation end of it is a lot of times as agents, we get busy. And then all of a sudden that item of value from the Buffini system comes, and it starts getting piled up because we get busy and don't send it out. So for a small amount of money, you can automate that it gets sent to your CRM that's in the referral maker system, and then you don't have to worry about it piling up or not getting out. So just wanted to throw that out there. Joe Schutz, do you use the referral maker system, or do you do more of a manual system?
No, I use the referral maker system, and I finally got on board with having them mail it for me. For me, it's like I think it's about $170 a month. And it's the best $170 I've ever spent, because I can show you stacks of items of value in my office that I never mailed out because I got too busy, and now they take care of it. They send me one to verify, to show that it's getting mailed out. And I mean, it's just automating and not getting bogged down in minutia, and they take care of it, and it's well worth it. It's just another expense.
Yep, but you just confirmed what I was saying about when people try to do it on their own. There's certain months that it doesn't get done, and it gets stacked up because we didn't get to it. So good. I'm glad to hear that you're using the automation system. Stacy, I see you on videos a lot on social media. Does the thing that Brooks talked about doing, maybe singing the happy birthday song and having that automated, is that something you think you might implement into your follow-up system? Because I could see you doing that.
I don't know if I'll have the nerve to do it and send directly to the client. Sometimes my girls get me out of my comfort zone, which is why you'll see me singing. But I would say that over the years, even before Kara and I had our teams, we worked really closely together in a little tiny office. And the one thing, even before we even realized we had a database, the databases for us were always like in our heads and in our phones. She taught me to, and she still says this today, she says to kiss the frog. Like, make the phone calls that you just don't want to make, because if you kiss the frog, your prince may show up, type of a thing. So we have always been a phone call maker. Like, even if it's out of the blue, we were always staying in touch via phone. It's just been recently for me, since coming to First Advantage, that I've actually tried to get systematic and implementing the things that you and Jean have done and started, and putting it into our business and doing the cards and things like that. So we are evolving to be better at those types of processes.
Okay, thank you. Now, since you brought up the verbal communication, Kara, you sent me something this morning from Darren Hardy, right? I'm assuming it was from Darren Hardy. And it also talked about the verbal communication. So could you expand on that a little bit and what that meant to you this morning? Because the verbal communication with your past clients is a much stronger item of value that they could ever have when you talk to them. So expand a little bit on why you sent that email and what it meant to you this morning. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so I feel that both with
It's going in and out, Kara.
Yeah,
Maybe if you
in
come
and out.
closer.
Now I'm gonna get right up into it. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, good. So yes, I agree with Stacy, and we do kiss our ugly frogs, because that's what ends up getting us the business. Phone calls for me. We do a lot of different things, and we are systematic, more so now than we ever were before. That's correct. But I think that calling people, picking up the phone, and communication is key. They like it. So, until we came to First Advantage, we didn't have like a system to do that. So if somebody were popped into our mind as a client, we'd pick up the phone. I mean, that's kind of like our game or whatever, and call them, hey, you popped into my mind, you're thinking, I'm thinking about you. They like that. People like that they like that communication. The other thing is, it's not just communication with your client, your prospects. I feel that communication needs to be with the other agents on your team. If you have a team, with your mentors, with your coaches. If you're coaching me, which you do, and I really appreciate that, value that. And if I don't communicate with you, I wouldn't have a warm and fuzzy if I was you. Correct?
So, yep. So what, for those that couldn't hear what she was saying, I did catch a lot of it. It said that the communication is important, not only with your past clients, but with the other agents that you're working with, your team members, your coach, your mentors, and how important communication in general is. Thank you for that. Yep. Kong, as far as follow-up systems, is there anything else that you implement? Because I know you do a lot of social things with some of your clients. You just had a big settlement in the 700,000 range, and I think you went to lunch with the seller at that point.
Yeah, we're going out to dinner here in the near future, and I just like to socialize with the clients. They kind of become your friend, right? And your friends will want to help you succeed in life. One of the things I do too, which I'm going to try to convert into KV Core, was I always put my past clients into Bright, and I do a little CMA and then save it as an auto email in there, so that when something comes up that's of interest to the client, because it's in the neighborhood that they're in, I get an automatic email to myself, and then that sparks me to give them a call and talk to them about something that's coming soon or something that came active in their neighborhood, and just talk. So yeah,
Okay, good.
Little triggers, you know.
Yep. Mr. Hubler, you're into automating a lot of different things too. Is there anything specifically that you're working on with your past client database to stay in touch with them?
Well, we used to do the Brian Buffini referral system, but then the stuff wasn't a total fit for us. And we went out, we're using a system kind of like KV Core. But what we have tied into it with what's called an API key, it basically takes the program and meshes in this other program. It's called AM Cards. So if you want to send out cards and you're not in the Brian Buffini system, you can tie in the AM Cards with an API key right into the KV Core if you're using the KV Core, and you can send in like the birthday cards, and you can do farms, you can do all sorts of stuff. The beauty of the program is it costs you $40 a month, but then they're giving you a $40 credit for sending out cards, and they'll roll over up to 12 months of credits. So, you know, you could be heavy one month, light on another, and you can still be carrying a credit for sending out birthday cards, anniversary cards, you know, whatever life event that somebody may have, and you can automate that right into the KV Core as well. And I think if you refer a couple people, you might not even have a bill. I don't know. So it's, you know, we've been doing that a little bit. It just like, sad to say, I was a little bit tight on time for my dad's Father's Day card. And so I went in the system. I made a Father's Day card. I even used the Chat GDP and went over pretty big with my dad.
Good. Congratulations. Thanks for sharing. Yep. As we're talking about automation, Keith, if you can unmute yourself, you're probably using KV Core more than anybody at this point and have been. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're using KV Core to automate within your database? Because some of these are not for you, past clients and centers of influence, but they're actually the leads that are coming in. So how are you using KV Core as the follow-up system for your leads?
Well, one of the advantages of selling these mobile homes is that no one buys those leads. So it kind of starts there, because I have everything moved from, as soon as someone contacts me on Zillow, it automatically moves their contact information into KV Core, and then they start getting follow-ups, and that's the leads. My sphere of influence is in there too for the market reports, and I think that's all I have them in automatically. That's like not an email that says something. But most of my communication with my sphere are people that are going to be buying or selling, is handwritten notes. We also send out a newsletter once a month. And we have our core people broken up by quarter, and every quarter someone gets a little gift. This quarter, this month, everybody's divided up into months in that quarter, so we don't send out like 50 of them one month. It's usually only 20 or 30. But this month it was a card that just said "Have a pint on me," and it was a gift card to Brewster's. And that went over well. 3 people posted it on Facebook. So
How many pints did you give away?
it was like 30. So it was
Good.
like 100. It was like $150. You know,
Good.
or actually it was more than that. It was like it was enough for a pint with tax. So it was like $6.65 or something per person.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, you gave away 30 different items of value, you know, which probably made some people happy and excited. And I think it was a great idea and a great way to touch people. And I know that it was noticed by other agents within the office. So congratulations for that. Shelley,
Thanks.
yep, if we can move to you for a second. Shelley, when you joined our company, you leveled up and went really hard on those handwritten notes, as Morgan and Keith and everybody has talked about. Let's talk about when you first joined and you jumped into all those handwritten notes, how successful that has been for you over the past year.
Well, it did generate a couple people that were good for me, but I'm sitting here listening to everybody, and I see I have a lot of work to do with the database and with setting things up. And like Stacy had said earlier, you know, where we came from, nobody talked about any of this. And no one really talked about a database. You know, you made phone calls and you did handwritten notes, and now all this new stuff is coming, and I'm pretty excited about this because I can just see that it's really going to generate more. The handwritten notes are great, and I love doing that. And people do comment, even if I didn't generate any business off of it, at least people were calling me and thanking me to take the time to actually write them a note. And like Kara said, you know, the phone calls, people love communication, and even just talking to other agents and keeping that open, friendly type of business going, I think really, really pays off. But yeah, the handwritten notes, I love doing them. I still have a whole bunch. More to do.
Yeah. Bob Stevens, if you can unmute yourself there for a second. You've done a follow-up system for, I don't know, 20 some years with calendars, haven't you? As far as, did you send out calendars on a yearly basis?
Yes. Calendars, I do the time change cards, and I used to do a newsletter. I'm thinking about maybe doing that again.
So what time of the year did you typically send your calendars out? When would you order them and when would you send them?
Well, I'd order them now. In fact, I've got the order in as of today, but I'll get those and send them around the first part of December, between first and second week in December.
Okay. And are they still the magnet ones that go on the people's refrigerators?
They're magnet, and they're also they have a sticky back also that work on those refrigerators that you think are stainless steel, but they're aluminum. So
okay,
they work on those. So it's a dual
it's amazing, you know, when you go through homes and you see the agents' calendars on their refrigerators. So I still think that the calendar thing is a good idea of a follow-up system to keep your name in front of them every day as they open that refrigerator. Yep. Good. And you're looking at doing the, because I know for a long time there, for a while, you said you might institute the newsletters again. You were first doing them when you joined our company through remax.net and that website. Are you still looking at that, or do you have another source that you might be moving it to?
Now, the last one I did, I actually copied an article out of the Realtor magazine, that I thought was really appropriate for that time of year. So I got permission from the author to do it, and that's what I sent out.
Okay, good. Anybody else want to volunteer of some sort of system that they're using for past clients, centers of influence, follow-up system, or even their buyer leads that they might have in Top Producer or KV Core or some sort of system at this point in time? Anybody? Okay, then let's move on
Jim
Penny.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was just gonna say, I've been, since I started, I get Christmas cards each year, and I've been sending out Christmas cards or happy holidays, as depending on what's appropriate. And that seems like a nice way to do things.
Yeah, handwritten Christmas cards are a great way to do things. In fact, my old friend Mary Eberly used to start this time of year handwriting 5 or so or 10 a day, so that by the time it got to Christmas, she had them all done because she had a database of over 1,200 people. And, she wrote a Christmas card to every one of those. And I know it means a lot to people to get something like that handwritten. So good. Thank you for sharing that. Aaron, do you want to tell us about your contest and your giveaway for the Hershey Park tickets that include a food pass?
Yes, so on behalf of the title company, we had gotten some Hershey Park tickets. So we have 2 tickets with 2 meal vouchers. I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
I'm super excited. I found this cool little wheel. So I think I have all the agents. I've excluded the staff for today. So this is agents only. So I'm going to shuffle. Okay. Oh, it just shuffles. Oh, look. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to spin it. And it's going to tell us the winner.
That's pretty cool.
I know. I'm super excited.
Mr. Hubler.
Now wait. Look! Fireworks. I just found this morning and I was super excited to use it. So thank you all for, enjoying my enthusiasm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you to the title company for doing that and putting up that thing. And we really appreciate it. Folks, for all of you on the call that support our title company, I thank you very much for it. For those that do give business to other title companies, if you would think about at least throwing us a bone every once in a while, we greatly appreciate it. And then we can do more things for you like this. So thank you very much. And thank you, Aaron, JB, and the title staff for giving us this today. Brooks, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it was a great call. Obviously, there's a bunch of different systems out there and different strokes for different folks, but use some of these takeaways from today and start implementing them in your business.
Okay. Unless anybody has anything else they'd like to.
Tim, I'd like to say just a couple of things here. Number one, everything that we talked about today is really, really super. What makes it even more super is when you know your numbers, when you recorded who you talked to, whether they were past client or center of influence. I'll just use this as an example. I know I talked to Shelley on Monday. Shelley had been in Florida on a mini vacation. And basically when she came back, this mobile home was sold. So my question to Shelley is, on the number of calls you made just that day, how much was your time worth to you when that mobile home sold, Shelley?
Yeah, it was worth a lot. It really was.
Go ahead.
I was very excited that I was excited for the man. He actually is ill, and he needed to move with family. And when I went to when he called me and I went there, I was like, oh my goodness, because it's an old mobile. And I wasn't sure it was going to sell, and when it did, and everybody was really happy, and he said how blessed everyone was that was involved. You know, I think I was more excited about helping him than I was about getting a paycheck.
Yeah, I understand that part of it. I just wanted to bring out the point that it also makes you excited when you know that when you call the past client, when you write the note, when you do the things that you're supposed to do, you get an extraordinary paycheck for the amount of hours that you put in. And it really becomes self-satisfaction when you know what those numbers are and what they're worth to you per hour. And I just want to leave you with that, the
Yeah.
goodness that you perform, all of us perform when we sell somebody's most valuable asset that they own. They're smiling forever and a day about that.
Actually, you know what, I've never really sat down and figured out how much money per hour that I would make. I know clients do that, but I also want to throw in there, this man called me because of a person that referred to him. And that person that referred me does work for me, stayed in touch with him, always call him, send him a little note or whatever. And that's where I got this, was from him.
Good.
So it was a referral that came in from one of my past clients.
And then just to wrap things up, thank you, Shelley, for that. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Kong's going to be doing a training session on forms. I can't tell you how important it is to understand the forms in which you're working on, because even today, veteran agents are not 100% understanding the forms and some of the blanks that can be filled in. So my suggestion is, if you have time tomorrow at 2, please get on Kong's call. And if you don't have time tomorrow at 2, please watch it when we record it and post it. Thank you. Brooks, anything else?
Yeah, just one last quick thing. If you guys want to implement some of this KV Core stuff, I'll send out the video of, you know, the 4 points that I talked about, and how to implement just those 4 touches. But if you ever have any questions with the KV Core, give me a shout. I'd love to help you one-on-one.
Okay, sounds good. We'll talk to you
Great
next week.
day.
Yep, thanks.